The 1995 European Championships are at Hörby, some 60 kilometers northeast of Malmö in Sweden. But we begin in Germany at the port of Travemünde, where special transport arrangements have been made for many of the teams from Switzerland, Belgium, Holland, Germany and Great Britain. This is the Dingerink team of mini pullers from Holland, driving on board MS Peter Pan, which was built in 1988 and refitted for this route in 1993. The destination is Trelleborg in Sweden. Loading completed, it was time to cast off, and Master Claes Vink expertly eased the 17.5-ton gross weight ferry away from the quayside. He, together with Sven Nilsson and Connie Larsen, the first and second officers, would make sure that the 7-hour voyage would pass without problems. For the more than 80 tractor-pulling passengers, many who'd driven through the night, it was a chance to relax or catch up on some sleep. Others visited the well-stocked duty-free shop. The tempting food in the restaurant was too good for many to resist, while the more technically minded went down to the engine room to see what made the big ship tick. But all too soon, the voyage was over, and Peter Pan was alongside the quay at Trelleborg, and I'm assured that TT line doesn't stand for truck and tractor pulling line. Then the first of the 25 enormous trucks was down the ramp and on the way to Hörby, and this year's European Championships, where 10 countries and 62 teams are represented. In all, 7 different classes will have new champions after the 2-day event. Over 20,000 people are expected, and 200 have made the journey from Finland to support the Valmet boys. The weather today, cloudy, a little windy, but the sun could break through on occasions. And if you're new to the sport, the object is to pull a weighted sledge as far down a 100-metre track as possible. Over 100 metres is a full pull and a place in the final. The winner is the tractor that pulls the furthest. Here's the sledge, and at the back you'll see a weight box which, as it moves to the front, makes it harder and harder to pull. That's Jan Boudenhouse, President of the European Tractor Pulling Committee, welcoming everyone. It's your last chance to buy earplugs because this is a noisy sport. And the first event we're going to see is the 3.4-ton modified class. First into the arena is Gold Tiger from Sweden. And that's Sona Trulsen from Trelleborg, sitting behind 5 Chrysler 440 engines, which will give him about 2,000 horsepower. Sona is 31 years old and works on a farm and was second in this year's Swedish Championships. Second flagman Mick Hollin signals the all clear. First flagman Willem Tamming from Holland sends Gold Tiger on its way. You can see the weight box moving to the front of the sledge, and it brings the Swede to a standstill at about the 90-metre mark. He really has dug himself an enormous hole. There's an optical prism at the front of the sledge, and here's the measuring man getting the precise distance, which is 89.34 for Gold Tiger from Sweden. Now from Belgium, it's Baby Duck and Andre Whitak. There's the mascot sitting on top of a Rolls-Royce Meteor V12 engine, and he would appear to have company on the second Meteor. Andre's been Belgium 2.4-ton champion since 1989. Last year he also won this class as well, so let's see what the 47-year-old from Antwerp can do. This is gonna be close. Oh, but you can see he's just short of the 100-metre flag. Perhaps if the ducks had pulled a bit harder, he'd have made it. Oh, the Moose Man doesn't think so. 97.46 for Baby Duck. Pulling fans come from all over Europe for this event, and one thing they do have is a good time. It was not so good, however, for the Dutchman Jan Bosman on his first run in Rising Star. Let's see what happened. Up in the air, struggling to keep it away from the white line, but he nicks the edge, and Mick Hollin raises the red flag and says, "You're over and out of this run." And here's the second attempt. Opening up the 2 Rolls-Royce Napier Gazelle turbines, which both give over 1,400 horsepower. Second in the Dutch Championships in 1995. And he is just a whisker away from the 100-metre mark. But more worrying, he's down to the rims of his tyres, and that shouldn't happen. 99.15 is the distance for Rising Star. So the 38-year-old car mechanic from Hörby in Holland, so close and yet so far from a place in the pull-off. The sledge filling in the holes, but you can see the ETPC officials clearly concerned at how easily they're sinking into the soil. And it's decided that later more clay will be added and the rake and roller will be changed. And he's saying, in my day they sank down this far. Tractors pulled by friction, spinning the wheels as quickly as they can on top of the surface. And this is black gold from Great Britain demonstrating the point. A single Allison V12 with artillery blower that gives a two-stage supercharger. But it hasn't charged enough today, and he also misses out. He scored 97.05 meters. The next competitor is from Norway, Stone Cold and Johannes Eider. A single Rolls-Royce Meteor engine from a Centurion tank is his power source. But it is heavy going for the Norwegian champion, who stops stone dead at about 70 meters. Never mind, the Norwegians are happy. 72.51 for Stone Cold and Johannes Eider from near Stavanger. So from Norway to Switzerland, this is Rolf Hartmann backing Moni into position. Rolf comes from Werelingen, which is between Zurich and Basel. And when he's not pulling, he's a farm machine mechanic. It's a 1600 horsepower Mercedes-Benz engine, which got him to second place in the Swiss Championships. It's the third time Rolf has been to the Europeans, and in a week's time he celebrates his 30th birthday. Oh, there's nothing there to celebrate. He's come all the way from Switzerland and he breaks on the starting line. Well, at least he's got a sense of humour. Now, the moment the Swedes have been waiting for. Super Special driven by Stellan Bartelsson from Anastor. He's got 3 Keith Black engines that normally power drag racers. All the Swedish hopes are on his shoulders. Can their champion do it? Oh yes, a full pull, the Super Special, and Stellan delivers the goods. So the Swedish champion is through to the pull-off. And Stellan will be joined by 3 from Denmark, 2 from Holland, and 1 each from Great Britain and Germany, and you couldn't have picked a more competitive lineup. While extra weight is added to the sledge, there's time for a bite to eat from one of the many refreshment stalls around the arena. And if you don't feel like leaving your seat, you can make do with crisps and peanuts and whatever other goodies he has in his tray. But now, it's on with the pull-off. And first into the arena is Black Power and Paul Owe Jensen, who comes from Skjern in Denmark. There's a safety wire, but if the main chain unhitches for any reason, the wire will pull out and cut all the electrical systems. 4 Chevy 510s roar into action. He's the 1994 2.4 champion, and now he's trying for the 3.4 as well. Not at all bad, and 21-year-old Paul sets the target for the others to beat. A large Danish crowd are on their feet, and 96.7 is the distance for Black Power. Now it's time for the Germans to make their presence felt, because Museum's Cat is ready and waiting at the start. It's owned by Eugen Kiemiller, who has a big museum near Stuttgart, but driven today by 41-year-old Richard Holtz. Got 3 American RS engines pumping out the power. And he is over the 100-meter mark again for another full pull. But in the pull-off they have a floating finish, so the distance over 100 meters also counts. And it's 102.68 for Museum's Cat. Has the cat got the cream? We'll have to see. Now, all eyes are looking to the start, where White Horse the 6th is waiting. It's an 18-cylinder Star motor from a Lockheed Neptune, and the man with his hands on the throttle is 40-year-old Gert van Over from Uden in Holland. 3,500 horsepower almost lifting him down the track. Slipping right across, but he keeps it in. And just think, if he'd have gone straight, he'd have had at least 2 meters extra. But Gerrit is well short of the cat, 95.16 meters for Whitehorse the Sixth from Holland. The Swedish Vikings are getting restless again, so that can only mean one thing, that Super Special is next to pull. He has 2 Keith Black 482 engines, and even second-hand they cost 125,000 Swedish krona each. The third is a 496. He said he'd have liked to have a fourth, but he ran out of money. But maybe he'll be in the money today. Going well at the moment, but he runs out of steam, well short of Museum's cat. But it was a good run, and if he's further than Black Power's 96.7, he goes into second place with 4 more to pull. 96.79 and second for Super Special. Now it's time for the Danes to hold their breath. Fox is in the arena. Second in this event last year, second in 1993. Will this be third year lucky for the 5 Larsen brothers from Skjern in Jutland? Just time to fix your hair before Peter Larsen pushes forward on the throttle to his 4 Chevrolet engines. They've been unhappy with their tyres of late, and he is having a bumpy ride today. Oh, but he is well past Cat's marker, and that's what the Danes have come to see. A month ago, Fox lost their Eurocup title to Green Spirit. A goal today would make up for that. 105.91, Fox leaps into the lead, and now the pressure is very much on the 3 left to pull. Here's the first of them. Beverall Eager Beaver from Putten in Holland. 5 Chevys, 3 injection and 2 blower. Saw them to 3rd place in the Dutch Championships. High in the air, but they don't normally send out smoke signals like that. Over the 100, and if it's over 102.68, they're into second place. No, 102.54, 12 centimeters short. And now, here is the one they're all afraid of. Desperate Dan from Great Britain. Brian Armistead has won this title for the last 4 years. He's printed t-shirts saying European champion, so he intends to make it 5 in a row. He's ready. His 4 Chevy 527s are ready. Let's see if the Blackpool man can do it. Oh yes, past 80, past 90, past 100, and he leaves the Fox so far behind it's untrue. He looked back and says, yes, that's it, and the Danish fans have all gone quiet as we see once again the power that has probably taken him to another title. 114.01, nearly 9 meters better than the rest. A superb performance. That's the slightly unconventional but very effective PA system. And now it's the last to run, Bull Power from Denmark. Desperate Dan will be a hard act to follow. He's got a single Rolls-Royce Griffin from a Mark 18 Spitfire, 2,500 horsepower, very close to the edge. And he finishes with a flourish, but only 94.43 for Kurt Østegård. So Desperate Dan for the 5th time is European 3.4 ton modified champion, and he gets so carried away he loses his hat in the process. And here's the official result. And as you can see, Fox having to settle for silver again. And we'll take a break now. We'll be back with the marvellous minis after this. And welcome back to Hörby in Sweden. And apart from the European Tractor Pulling Championships, once a year it's also the venue for a special kind of market, a Victorian market. Stall holders dress up in Victorian style costumes, and even some of the public enter into the spirit of things. Every stall has something different to offer, from handmade wooden dishes and bowls and plates to Victoriana bric-a-brac. And it would appear that even in those days they had ecological vegetables. Doesn't that bread look delicious? How about surprising the wife? Take her home a live pig. Or perhaps dried flowers would be more appropriate. I tell you, 5 minutes in the market and you feel like you're in a Bergman movie. And that's how you make wooden clogs if you have the time and patience. The market certainly attracted many of the pulling fans. And we've seen this guy at least the last 3 Europeans. And he's got the badges to show for it. But right now, it's time for us to leave this glimpse of yesteryear. We're going to make our way back across town to the pulling arena, where everyone has been kept in really good humour by a non-stop supply of foot-tapping music. And it's not only the spectators who are enjoying themselves. It would appear Mick Hollin is still celebrating the British victory. But now we're almost ready for the next class, the 0.9 ton mini pullers. 4 from Holland, 3 from Germany, 2 from Denmark, and 1 each from Sweden and Norway. First into the arena is Willem Dingerik from Holland with Lambada 3. This used to be known as Rabbit Injection, and it won the previous owner the European Championship. Right, Willem's away. Oh no, he's not. He has 2 minis with this name. He broke the other a month or so ago. Now he's got a pair in the workshop. 23.09 for Lambada 3. Filling in the program to keep abreast of scores. And how about this? A camera on the sledge and mini breaker from Norway in front of us. Now you can see what it's like to drive a mini. Fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be a wild one. Oh, not bad, eh? Eurocup winner, and at the moment the strongest mini in Europe. Full pull to Carl Sofersengen in 11.39 seconds. He blew his engine at last year's Europeans and he's out for revenge today. And with all those fans behind him, he must be favourite. Now here's another strong contender. Helmut Schwarz and Ghostbuster from Germany. Champion in '93, second last year. And he's hoping his Rolls-Royce Meteor Panzer tank engine will take him to the title again. The boy from the Black Forest is going well. Squeezing every inch he can. The German fans enthusiastic, but our camera's on the 100-metre mark, so that doesn't look like a full pull to me. 97.09 for Ghostbuster. And he's really plugged up, isn't he? Aye. I think he's got his eye on the teddy bear that's sitting on the wing of Savage Heart from Sweden, driven by 23-year-old Fredrik Andersson from Trelleborg. He's also Swedish champion. He's been champion for the last 3 years. Oh, over to the right, then back to the left, and Fredrik was all over the place. And I think that'll be worth seeing again from our camera at the end. Straight as a dog's hind leg, he stayed in bounds there by a fraction. 93.20 his distance, and he probably won 103 with all that zigzagging. Now it's Gators from Denmark with Torben Hansen behind the wheel. Chevy 454 giving him the power. Has he got the glory as well? No, a few metres short of the 90-metre mark. So still only one full pull, which is Mini Breaker from Norway. Torben was 8th in last year's Europeans, and 86.15 is the distance for Gators today. Time to brush himself off. Don't forget your hair. He often leaves his visor open and gets dust everywhere. And now, it's time for the second entry from Germany. Joker and Thomas Zimmermann. Champion in '92, second in '93, third last year. And the 21-year-old industrial mechanic from Ettenscheis would like nothing better than to win again. He was also Eurocup champion in '94, but could only manage third place this year. When the rake and the rollers are out the way, we can get underway. Like now. Oh, one of the 8 cylinders of his Arias engine has gone down, so he's a lot less power. And his distance reflects it. 83.37 for Joker, who won't have anything to laugh about after that. Now from Holland, it's Bandit, who looked at one stage as if they'd walk away with the Dutch Championships, but they broke at the Euro Cup meeting in Wallaby Flevo, hit a slump before finishing strongly and earning a ticket to Hörby. Keith Black 511 V8 Hemi with Dirk van Dasselaar behind the wheel. We're going to go on board again, see if the Bandit boys can repeat their win from 1988. Oh, he's flirting with out of bounds. Just a centimetre away, but he pulls it back in. And that is the margin between triumph and disaster. Well, you won't get closer to disaster than that, but they say that fortune favours the brave, and that was a full pull to Bandit in 14.69. So we have a pull-off, and there's two very happy men. Now from a dream to a nightmare. Well, that's the name of the last German tractor. Only the strong survive, it says, and we'll have to see if they're strong enough to do that. 6th in last year's championships, and that's Peter Doman in the hot seat. Only a full pull is good enough. And it doesn't look like there'd be a German in the pull-off. No, Peter Doman struggles and struggles and stops short of the magic 100. Sympathetic wave from the German fans, and Nightmare, which was known as Bandit when it pulled in Holland a couple of years ago. Let's see the distance, 83.70. 3 more to go and only 2 full pulls. But 17-year-old Gert Dingering could change that. He really has made a big impression in his first season driving Lambarder 4. He's seen his father brake on the first run of the day. Let's look over his shoulder and follow him down the track. Oh, there's smoke from his Chevy. He's slowing down, that's the 90-metre mark. So Lambarder 4 will not be dancing into the final. Something's wrong with the engine, that's for sure. And there's flames from the exhaust pipes. 93.68 for Gert Dingering from Zwolle in Holland. What's he doing? I think he's trying to start a wave. Not so much a wave, more a little ripple. The mini sledge they're using today comes from Sweden, and it's known as Cool Runnings. It doesn't have its own engine, so it has to be towed back to the start. Lots of children are here with their families, and they're having a great time. Lots to tell their schoolmates on Monday. Now from Denmark, it's Kenneth Dale and Roadrunner. Kenneth is the chairman of the Danish Tractor Pulling Association, and he shares the driving with his wife Annetta. But today, Kenneth's in charge, and without so much as a beep beep, he's on his way. No, it's more than he can handle, and the 26-year-old from near Aarhus records 71.01, but the Danish fans are generous in their applause. So we're now down to the last to pull, and it looks like he thinks they've got a good chance of reaching the pull-off. It's the 1994 European champion, Simply Irresistible from Holland. And it's Bert Dijkstra who's in charge today, not Egbert Gross, who won the title at Wallaby Flevo. It's a Keith Black 540 engine that propelled them to second place in this year's Euro Cup. Now, is this going to be a three-way final? Lots of early speed. And just like a good golf drive, he is going straight down the middle. And he has done it, a full pull. The champion is not giving up his crown lightly. So the pull-off looks like this. Euro Cup champion Mini Breaker from Norway, Bandit from Holland, and Simply Irresistible from Holland. The Norwegian fans rising to their feet in expectancy. Last year, Carl Sofers had to watch the final from the sidelines. Today, he could be seconds away from doing the double. Willem waves away, the only mini puller in Norway, high in the air, but he keeps the throttle hard down. He's making his own dust storm, and somewhere in there is Mini Breaker. That was an amazing pull. The Norwegians are already celebrating. And that's why 108.5, and I'll be surprised if the others can get within sniffing distance of that run. But the Bandit's gonna try. Everything to win, nothing to lose. Dirk van Dasselaar is already certain of at least bronze. It's also a Keith Black engine, but he's wandering about the track. Now the weight's getting to him. He's going nowhere fast, and he shuts it off at about the 90-meter mark. Good try, but not good enough. Still, back in July, Dirk wasn't even expecting to be here, so this is a bonus. 89.87 for Bandit. And here's how much he travelled about the track. First to the right, then he brake corrects and drifts way over the other side, and he was about a third of a metre from out of bounds. Now the last to pull. Can the 1994 European champion repeat last year's performance? Bert Dijkstra's going to try. Fast away. Oh, but his blower belt's gone, and it's blown his chances as well. The Norwegians are over the moon, and some are over on the track. It's what they came for, and Carl Sofus has delivered the goods. There's the blower belt. And there's where it should have been. So third place for Simply Irresistible. What a bit of disappointment for the Dutchman, who doesn't really know whether to laugh or cry. Here's the result. Lambada the fourth was fifth. Their problem, there were two identical cans. They took the wrong one with the wrong fuel. Still, Gert will be back, you can be sure of that, and I bet he won't make the same mistake again. So as the Norwegians celebrate, let's see the 1, 2, 3 in the last event of the day, the 5.4-ton modifieds. Heinz Joseph Horskamp lost his crown and had to settle for third place with Green Fighter. Jan van Alphen went one better than last year's third spot. He took second place with Q8 Team Popeye. But the popular winner was Eugen Kiemler and Museum's Killer. 15 times he's been either German or European champion. This makes 16. He was the only one with a full pull. And as the German fans salute the champion, we'll take a short break and we'll be back with the Superstocks after this. And welcome back to Hörby Arena in Sweden for day 2 of the European Tractor Pulling Championships. Here you can see just how large this sports complex really is. Most of the spectators are in their places. Here's our cameraman Sambo, who lost the toss as to who should be hoisted up there. There was a lot of overnight rain and it only stopped at lunchtime. And even though the track was covered, it still got wet, so they're spreading chalk, which will be mixed in together with a considerable amount of extra clay soil. And even though it looks like a ploughed field, it'll soon be raked and rolled into shape. While that's going on, let's look back at the top 7 in yesterday's 3.4-ton Superstock class. This is Super Money with Rudy Plattner from Switzerland. Rudy getting a bumpy ride. He comes from Herznack, which is between Zurich and Bâle. And he has earned himself 6th place with a pull of 87.88 meters. Now, here's one of the favorites, Magcal Bits and Pieces with Leonard Griffian. Last year, weight distribution was wrong and he crashed out, breaking both his front wheels. But everything's under control today. Oh, I think something broke. He stopped very suddenly, but it's still a good run from the Euro Cup champion. The Liberty Bell Boppers are here from Holland and they like the run, but the owner, Willem Veldhuizen, looks very concerned. And there's the distance. Magcal Bits and Pieces takes the lead with 91.32. Now from Germany, it's Rowdy with Hans Schweiger from Munich. European champion in 92, second in 93, 4th last year, an impressive record. But he won't win any titles with this pull. He shakes his head, and there's the reason, 86.93 for Rowdy. Looks like they brought their own grandstand with them, doesn't it? Now from Great Britain, JBJ Express, driven by 27-year-old Stephen Clark. They've had a disappointing season in Europe. Is their luck going to change? No, JBJ Express will not be in the money today, and the young farmer from Buckingham records 89.74 for 5th place. And here's the 1994 European champion, Niels Damgaard from Aulum near Herning in Denmark. No one expected him to win last year. Can he surprise them again? Well, this is really a good run. 91.32 is the mark to beat. He must be close. 91.2, just 12 centimetres short of Magcal Bits and Pieces. But with 3 to pull, that gives him 2nd place and earns him a Danish wave from the fans. Now from Holland, this is Wim Janssen and Deer Hunter. 3rd last year at Wallaby Flevo and always a strong contender. And the 41-year-old John Deere sales mechanic is also round about the 90-metre mark. So there's just centimetres separating them at the top. 90.81 for Deer Hunter and 3rd place at the moment. I've never seen so many fans for one tractor at the Europeans as there are here for Hurricane this weekend. 2nd last year, 2nd in the 4.4s in 93. Is this the place and the time for Hurricane to come good? Oh, it's hard to see from this angle, but I think he's done it. Eric Meyer waiting for the score, but his fans aren't. They're already celebrating. 92.77, Hurricane breezes into the lead. But for the Swedish fans here to cheer Deer Addiction, they never even got warmed up. And here's the reason, he broke before the start. The Finnish hope, Delta Power, did get on the track but blew a piston at 62 metres. So Pekka Hörby and his crew have a major strip and rebuild job on their hands to be ready for the 4.4s. So Eric Meyer at last turned silver to gold as we see the official result. So a 1-2 for Holland and Niels Damgaard took the bronze for Denmark. And when you make a wager, there's always the risk that you may have to pay up. A Hurricane fan said that if Eric won, he'd shave his hair off. And you can't back out when all your friends are watching, can you? So here he is getting a very, very short back and sides. They've also got their own cigars. They're rolled very tightly, so you have to pull hard on them, he told me. Isn't he sweet? Now back to day 2 and the 4.4-ton Super Stocks. They've done a good job on the track where the first competitor is ready and waiting. It's Historix from Sweden. 27-year-old Hans Frieden from Linköping is in the hot seat. The big Volvo was number 2 in Sweden this year. And there you can see how close he was to the 100-metre mark. 96.41 for Historix. And the Finnish flags are out for Pekka Hörby and Caesar, the winner in 93. It's a Valmet 8400 which had a new engine about 6 weeks ago after coming to grief in the Euro Cup round in Herning. And now he's really starting to move, and if you reckon that the sledge is about 14 tons, you'll understand why he needs 3 turbos to shift it as fast as that. So a full pull to the fin and a mini wave in his honour. Now let's see who's made it to the pull-off. 3 from Holland, 2 from Finland, and 1 from Sweden, Denmark and Germany. JBJ Express broke at the start and didn't qualify, so we're just about ready for the pull-off. There's a message from the demo addicts, and presumably they're referring to this machine here. Demolition Deer with Jan Berggraaf, who's from Loostrecht, and who's a foreman in the building business. Can he build himself a good distance? That is the question. Well, his John Deere's dodging about all over the place. And Jan stops at about the 90-metre mark, so that sets the standard the others have to beat. 92.16 for Demolition Deer. After yesterday's run, Deer Hunter also had problems, but Wim Janssen was up burning the midnight oil, making repairs, and he would appear to be okay again. Comes from Druten near Nijmegen. If you're interested, it's a John Deere 7700. And all of a sudden he loses power and he looks down and thinks, what on earth has happened now? 85.17 for Deere Hunter. And I think that macho man there must be hunting for pneumonia or something. It certainly is far from summer weather. And that's Blue Power, Niels Damgaard from Denmark. He ordered a new clutch from America at Easter and it arrived just before the September Championships. That's speedy delivery for you. And that's the reason he's had such a poor season. But yesterday's third place in the 3.4s is definitely a step in the right direction. His invalid son Jens P actually owns the tractor and he's here to see if his father can lift some more metal in this class. Oh, he sails past the marker for Demolition Deere and we have a new leader. 48-year-old Niels Damgaard, who has his own agricultural machinery company in Jutland. 98.83 is the distance. And that warrants another wave from the Danish fans, who have the scent of a goal. Now from Finland, it's Delta Power, which yesterday was in pieces, but all the King's horses and all the King's men have managed to put it back together again. It's a Valmet 8400, and if he doesn't do well today, it won't be through lack of support. So can the truck driver from Calvia better the day? He's got two tractors in this pull-off, but this is his current favourite. No, he's short and he knows it. He looks across to the marker for confirmation. The scoreboard gives it to him. 97.14 for Delta Power and Pekka Hörby. And that's second place at the moment with 4 left to pull, and one of those is his own Caesar. Now, it's yesterday's hero, Hurricane. A gold in the 3.4 has made everything seem possible. And once you start believing in yourself, you can move mountains. Or in this case, a 14-ton Belgium sledge. His Ford 9600 has never been better, and the fans have never had so many blue balloons. 98.83 is the distance to beat. And just listen to the Swedish commentator. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds good, doesn't it? And Hurricane has done it. Past Blue Power and into the lead. He must be using rocket fuel this weekend. 100.43, and after that, I bet there'll be a few more queuing up for a haircut. Willem Veldhuizen on the right, bits and pieces, broke a couple of rocker arms yesterday, so that's why he's out of action. But into action now is Pekka Hörby and Caesar. Building up turbo pressure at just the right moment, he'll ease his Valmet forward. His family here today to cheer him on, and what a cheer it would be from the Valmet fans if he can do it. But it's less than Delta Power, so Caesar hasn't conquered anyone today. 95.36 and into 4th place for the Finn. 2 to go, and from Sweden, this is Deer Addiction with Thomas Patterson. He spent several hours cutting his tyres on Friday night and ended up with blisters and his hand shaking so much he thought they'd never stop. He's not stopping now, is he? But it is not enough. Thomas Patterson is a long way behind Hurricane, but he could well slip into one of the minor placings. 98.44, 3rd place for Deer Addiction with just 1 to run. The track staff and their Valmets doing a splendid job. They've certainly knocked this track into shape. And this is the familiar shape of Rowdy from Germany with Hans Schweiger. Must have surprised him to finish as low as 7th yesterday. But it is not a smooth ride. He's really fighting with the wheel. And Rowdy bounces to a hold at about the 90-metre mark. And this will be one of the European Championships he'll want to forget. His worst results for years, and he is finding it difficult to understand. 90.86 for Rowdy. So Hurricane, Blue Power and Deer Addiction get to ride on the fire engine. And it looks like the Dutch fans are playing follow the leader. Now here's the official result. Double gold for Hurricane, and with last year's gold plus a silver and bronze here in Hörby, Blue Power now has a full set. Miss Liberty is also here in Hörby, so I asked the owner and driver, Michel Coy, what brought him to Scandinavia.
Well, why, it's obvious, you know, that we want to spread the word about the good news about two-wheel drive pulling. And we felt that it was kind of necessary to show a two-wheel drive vehicle in Scandinavia. And I think we got very good response from different teams and the crowd and the organizations. So I hope for a good two-wheel drive class here in Sweden and Denmark and Norway.
Well, Miss Liberty has had an excellent season, winning the Dutch two-wheel drive championship. Michel has had to borrow the blower from Bandit in order to compete here today. And a full pull to Miss Liberty, but not too much two-wheel about it. And whilst Michel waits for a tow back to the pits, we'll take another short break. When we return, we'll see the 4.4 modifieds. After this. Welcome back to the European Tractor Pulling Championships in Hörby in Sweden. For the 4.4 ton modifieds, let's quickly see the 1, 2, 3 in the 2.4 tons, which was run earlier this afternoon. Third place went to this beautiful machine, which is owned by 37-year-old Philippe Chauvin. It's called Synergy and it comes from France. Its two turbines are from a Super Freelon helicopter, and they propelled him to a distance of 95.45 meters. Now, from Great Britain, it's Ashley Middleton and Black Gold, who's been the 2.4 ton British champion since 1992. Drifting slightly to the side, but a brake correction puts him on the right track and he comes home in 111.73 meters. Now here is the 1995 European 2.4 ton champion, Paul Owe Jensen and Black Power from Denmark. His distance 114.4, so he retains the title he won in Wallaby Flavoo, and that's not bad for a 21-year-old. Now it's on with what many people would regard as the blue ribbon event of these championships, the 4.4 ton modifieds. First away is Terminator from Belgium with Stef de Hoff. He's sitting behind 3 Rolls-Royce Meteor engines, 11th last year, and the Belgian who farms in France unable to even get close to a full pull. 87.12 for Terminator. Everyone has enjoyed themselves immensely at these championships, and there have been really large crowds on both days. Now it's second to pull. This is Fox from Denmark. He'll probably pull more and travel further than any other modified team in Europe. That's Torben Larsen guiding his brother back into position, second in last year's 4.4 competition, and there are 6 Chevys mounted on the frame for this event. Engines have an elaborate points rating system to even things out. In this class they can't exceed 66 points. 25-year-old Peter Larsen is a toolmaker back in Skjern in Jutland. Now is Fox going to turn in the first full pull of this competition? Oh, he's bouncing around all over the place, and that's bad news for the Dane. And it's bad news for the fans as well. Fox is only a little over 90 meters, and that is a small sensation. They were expected to reach the final, but they're counted out at 91.88 meters. Now from Germany, Heinz-Josef Horskamp. He's taken off one of his Allison V12 engines. Oh, and it looks like another one has blown. The German is over and out of this event, 52.32, which is 13th and last place for Green Fighter. Now this is Gold Tiger from Sweden with 31-year-old Sona Trulsen in the saddle. Oh, and he's getting himself into all sorts of difficulties. And he ends up diagonally across the track, which is not the ideal pulling position. 76.95 for Gold Tiger. And as Sona leaves at one end, Kurt Østergaard from Denmark is ready at the other. Kurt's a farmer from Skjern, where so many of the other Danish pullers come from. It's a Rolls-Royce Griffin engine, which he bought from Brian Armistead. And it gets him to well over the 80-meter mark. It's called Bull Power because he used to use Taurus tyres and they had a bull logo. 85.93 for Bull Power. And if you want to find out more about tractor pulling, there's an address to write to at the end of the programme. Now from France, it's the turn of Freddy Launay and Ouragan, which means hurricane in English. Oh, but Freddy is in big trouble. His single Rolls-Royce Griffin, just like Bull Power, gets into a hold about 15 metres from a full pull. 85.82 for the French champion. The sun is showing through on occasions and they're doing good business selling drinks and draft beer to a thirsty public. And Jan van Alphen is also thirsty. Thirsty for a win with Q8 Team Popeye. He's had real problems keeping a straight course and today's no exception. He brings it back from out of bounds but slings the sledge round and that stops him dead. 97.33 for Q8 Team Popeye. There's another thirsty spectator. Now Kevin Whittingham and Snoopy from Great Britain. Two Rolls-Royce Griffins from a Shackleton bomber is power source. And they are good enough for a full pull for the man from Scorton in Lancashire. And here are the teams in the pull-off. 3 from Great Britain, 2 from Holland and 1 from Germany. An exceptionally strong field and a worthy climax to these championships. Where they get their energy from, I do not know, but they're still going strong. And Mick Holland has promised to dance on the track if Desperate Dan does the double, and he may well have to pay up. Now first to run, Eugen Kiemler and Museum's Killer. Already the 5.4 title safely tucked away. Can he do the double? Getting very close to the edge, but the big man keeps it in, and that was an excellent run from Eugen. The German fans agree, 103.02 for Museum's Killer. Now, cameras at the ready. It's the turn of the Eurocup holder, Green Spirit the Fourth. Peter Direct was a bit under the weather yesterday, but I think he's in top form today. He has also got a double Rolls-Royce Griffin combination. 27 years old, he comes from Beverley in Holland. .02 is the distance to beat, and this will be close. Oh, the sledge doesn't always start from exactly the same position, so sometimes it can be misleading. 104.79, he's done it. Green Spirit is the new leader, and they are really getting carried away. Now it's Snoopy from Great Britain with Kevin Whittingham. Kevin told me before the start that his aim was a top 6 finish to qualify for next year's Eurocup. He's done that already by reaching the final. But Snoopy not troubling the leaders today. 92.72 for Kevin Whittingham. And he would appear to enjoy blowing his own trumpet, but there's not much sound coming out, is there? Certainly not a fanfare to welcome Ib Kukushi into the arena. The man in black behind the wheel is C. Sitzling from Holland. And his 2 Griffins take the 32-year-old farmer from Sneek to 93.87 metres. Willem Tamming noting it in his book, and he'll see there are just 2 more to pull, and they're both from Britain. Here's the first of them, Mike Lawrence and Chariot of Fire. Mike comes from Somerset down there in the West Country. That's Carl Carter from Desperate Dan watching to see what happens. So Chariot of Fire has it all to do as Mike pushes forward on the throttle. He's losing his way, he's wandering all over the track. And then there's a blast of fire at the end. That's not why it's called Chariot of Fire. It was named after the film. I think he liked the music. 94.85 for Mike Lawrence. Now the moment of truth. 2 years in a row, Desperate Dan has done the double, winning both the 3.4 and 4.4 ton titles. Is this going to be 3 in a row? Watch for the checkered flag on the right, which is coming up. Oh, and so is half the track by the looks of it. Has he done it? Nobody's quite sure. Sledgeman Bert van den Brink is not certain. Well, the Union Jack is out. Now, what about the distance? 100. 104.93. Desperate Dan has done it by just 14 centimetres. Well, the Brits are happy, and here's the official confirmation. 104.93. So Brian wins from Peter Direct and Eugen Kiemler, and now here's the official result. And what a close one this turned out to be, less than 2 metres separating the top three. Well, Mick Hollin promised to dance on the track, and Sotan, the commentator, is holding him to that promise. So Twinkle Toe swings into action, and shortly after, 50 or 60 more joined in, including Desperate Dan, which I never thought I'd see. So a real festive way of bringing these championships to a close. Now here's 3 indoor dates for your diary: the 13th of January in Zwolle, the 3rd of February in Oldenburg, and the 16th of March at the Ahoy Centre in Rotterdam. And that's the address to write to for further information about tractor pulling. Vaasa in Finland is the venue for next year's championships. And finally, here's the Roll of Honour from Hörby 95. So Black Power and Desperate Dan retain their titles, and Museum's Killer takes the 5.4. And both Mini Breaker and Hurricane were invincible in their classes. That's it until the next time. This is Roger England saying bye for now.